Hey guys, I'm going to try and make this video. Hopefully it might take 2 videos to get this all through because I'm recording on my phone, and for some reason it only lets me record so much before it'll automatically stop. Then I have to start and make a new video. So if that's the case, please watch it in its entirety so that you get to hear everything that's going on before you make any comment or judgment. So basically you have the whole story. Anyway, I'm experiencing overheating in this car. I don't know what the normal operating range is for as far as temperature goes. Looks to be using the access port, I can watch the coolant temps. It looks to be that the thermostat opens around 180 or so. But I don't know what the normal operating temp range is. I don't know if it's 180 through 190 after the car's been heated up, or 180 through 195, or 180 through 185. I don't know. I have no idea. But basically what's going on is I've been driving this car quite a bit lately for work, basically across the nation. So it's seen a lot of miles, and I noticed about a week after I had it tuned is when I first took it, or about a week's worth of driving after I had it tuned. It wasn't a week right after, but I first took it up to Wisconsin from Arizona. And on my way up there, I made it to Colorado Springs, and when I pulled over for the night to stay the night, I looked down at my gauge and it was like up to like 240 some degrees, and I was like, holy shit, I have to shut this car off right now. And I did, and I pulled into the hotel, stopped, and I could smell coolant, so I was like, shit, what's going on, And popped the hood, and turned out that this guy right here, the overflow tank for the cooling system, had filled completely up and just started spewing everywhere, and that's still happening. So I'm not sure what the cause of that is. To make a long story short, this is still an ongoing problem. When I drive on the highway, it's fine. And again, this is after I drive for a while, because if I'm just driving around town, even if it's here in Phoenix where it's really hot and my intake temps get up to 190 degrees, it seems to be okay. I mean, if I suck this down to normal level and top off the radiator and I'm at a loss. I can't think of what that's called right off the bat. But anyway, the turbo reservoir. It seems to be okay. This will fill up a little bit, which I know some expansion is normal, but it doesn't seem to suck back down. So that led me to believe caps. So I replaced both caps, but it's still happening. And I might seem to kind of ramble on throughout this video, but that's because I'm thinking out loud and I don't want to miss anything. So I'm sorry if it sounds a little disorganized, but anyway, long story short, Colorado Springs, I couldn't get seen there. I had to keep going, so I bought a bunch of coolant and kept going. But again, once I was on the highway, it was fine. So that led me to believe it was something related with the fans. And to this day, I don't know how they're supposed to sound, but I can tell you that every single car that I've owned or been around, when it heats up and these fans kick on, you can hear them. I mean, they roar to life. I'm sure all you know what I'm talking about. These fans do not do that. They will kick on once the temp gets to about, 205 or something, which I think is excessive. But again, I don't know what the range is. But I think they should kick on a lot sooner than that. But they are quiet. You can't even hear them. I had to use a flashlight and look down there, and yeah, they came on, but you can't hear them. So I'm like, is there a reason they're not coming on very strong? So anyway, it reminded me that the power cord to the alternator, at some point after I had it worked on, came loose, and it was arcing. I remember smelling it while I was driving. I'm like, man, something's burning. So I pulled over and this thing was cooked to a toast, and I was like, shit, that wire's loose, you know. So it was arcing while I was driving, and this cable got all flimsy, and it was pretty much almost melted, basically. And if you notice, this cable goes to the battery, obviously it would, branches off somewhere here and goes here, but it also goes into this fuse box, which has the relays for the fans. So I pulled the fuses. Shit, I don't know if I brought my keys. Yes, I did. I'll show you what the fuses look like. Pulled some fuses, and this is what, let's see if it'll focus. Come on, focus. Oh, almost had it. All right, you see how they look burnt? Those terminal ends look burnt. That is not normal, or at least I've never seen it in my career as a mechanic. I can't really focus. It's not focusing for me. So I thought, okay, you know, that obviously happened as a result of that alternator wire arcing. Got severely overheated, so I figured, hey, that must be it, because fan relays, fan fuses, control the fans, that's got to be the problem. I would have put money on it that was the problem. So I replaced that. That's all brand new. Unfortunately, only one of the relays, I think it's like a, let's see if I can, shit, I don't know, I can't pull this off right now. I'm not prepared to, but this, there's like one master relay, I believe, which was replaced with this, but there were two other relays that I think said something with the fan that were not replaced. There's a separate little triangular piece down here somewhere, and if you have one of these, you can pop it off and see. And they did not get replaced. But there were two other similar relays, so what I did was just swap the relays, but I still have the problem. So I'm kind of leaning towards the fans, but I don't know. So yesterday I just got back from driving 15 hours, came from Louisiana to Arizona, and same thing, going downhill where it should not have overheated from Flagstaff to Phoenix. Basically this huge downhill mountain, it was severely overheating, and you know, I wasn't on the gas, pretty much just coasting for the most part, not under load, not going uphill, and I had to pull over and stop it, and sure enough, you know, spilled everywhere. So I knew, obviously, you know, if it was overheating while I was going downhill, it's obviously low on coolant, that's why it's overheating. So I filled it up, I siphoned it out of here, put it in a container, and then I filled these up with coolant, and I made it home fine, because since I wasn't in stop and go traffic, it didn't give it a chance to overheat, and I made it home fine. And today, like I said, seems to be running fine. It just happens after I've been driving for a while, and it does this bullshit. So I don't know. I've researched and researched and researched online, and a lot of people are saying, you know, possible blown head gasket or a leaking head gasket, which I don't know. I mean, maybe, but in all my experience, this one's a real head scratcher for me. They said, I've also seen the system may not have been bled properly, which could be because I talked to the tech that worked at my that installed my air oil separator, and those have coolant lines down there. That line and that line are coolant lines. So obviously the system had to be opened, and I talked to him when I picked up my car from it being installed and tuned and whatnot, and he said, man, you know, your car was really hard to burp. I mean, burp the system. So maybe it wasn't done properly. Maybe there is air in the system. But I mean, man, I've driven easily 5,000 miles, if not more, and going up mountains and down hills, just constant speed on the highway. I would think that it would have been burped by now. However, if it keeps spewing coolant in here, then, you know, then that means coolant is being lost from the system. So maybe it didn't get bled. Maybe I keep reintroducing air. I don't know, but whatever it would seem to be would I mean, you would everything that I can think of, you would think that it would occur all the time.